How did Samus Aran develop into the being that she is? At the time of humanity's ascension in the Metroid series, a great deal of technological innovation occurred. This development is not dissimilar to our own. However, this innovation bears a certain school of thought, one that has advanced humanity's place in the stars. Thousands of years prior to the rise of human civilization, the Chozo existed in the universe, an avian race capable of colossal technological feats. However, their empire would eventually decline. In its place rose the Galactic Federation, a body of government that is centered on a tiny blue pearl in the Milky Way. In the Metroid universe, our very own planet makes an appearance. Over time, Earth would eventually become the federal power of the Milky Way. Presumably, this federation would expand into nearby planets, establishing colonies and a capital to direct them. However, how did it come to this? How did Earth and the Metroid universe develop into this intergalactic power? An answer may rise through the realm of quantum mechanics. To be incredibly brief, it is a branch of physics which attempts to explain the behavior of particles in the realm of probability. The technology industry in our day and age owes much to the discoveries found in quantum mechanics. One example would point to the invention of the semiconductor. This technological accomplishment revolutionized the tech industry. Semiconductors paved the way for transistors, the integrated circuit, and the modern computer. However, this leap of technological advancement may not have happened without the knowledge of quantum mechanics. In the modern computer, you need semiconductors, and in extension, the theory behind them, which revolves around the idea of each individual particle occupying many conditions or states at the same time in a wave-like pattern. Apply this to electrons, and this allows the semiconductor to utilize energy conversion, amplification, and conducting alteration within computers. How does this relate to the Federation? In Metroid lore, it is stated that this institution goes by a unique calendar known as the Cosmic Dating System, and in the year 2003 of this calendar, the Galactic Federation is formed. So we can infer that prior to this year, the Federation did not exist, and humanity acted on its own to expand across space. How they did so is through their naval fleet, and according to Metroid lore, their ships utilize wormholes for long-distance travel. Wormholes are a theoretical pathway through space-time. Hypothetically, they can be used as shortcuts for space travel. However, is this possible? According to Albert Einstein's theory of gravity and general relativity, the presence of matter and energy warps the fabric of space and time. So what we as individuals perceive as gravity is the space-time distortion produced by normal energy or mass. And this is where we come to the concept of negative energy, which is used in physics to explain the very nature of gravitational and quantum fields. Now, this is where things get very fascinating. When negative energy is introduced to space-time, it bends it, which may bring about traversable wormholes and potentially faster than light travel, though admittedly, we are not sure how stable these pathways may be. But what about communication? How is information sent? This is where we head to quantum entanglement, similar to the ideas that led to the invention of the semiconductor, in which a particle can be in two opposite conditions or states at the same time. Entanglement links these quantum particles so that alteration in one can instantly affect the other. Quantum entanglement may be used for a communication system to send and receive data. One application of entanglement to meet this end is quantum teleportation, which utilizes the principles of entanglement to send the exact quantum state of a particle across a distance to another particle. Thus, it may create a communication system. If Earth in the Metroid universe progresses anything like how we are, perhaps the utilization of quantum mechanics, general relativity, and string theory may have led to the development of efficient intergalactic travel. According to Metroid lore, in 2003 of the Cosmic Dating System, the Federation is created. This implies that this calendar was created before the founding of this government body. This also accounts that humanity has been traveling through the stars for potentially hundreds or thousands of years prior to the founding of the Federation. This is ample time to develop technology that would allow something like these space fleets to become a reality, to create shortcuts through space-time itself. This in turn has led to the rise of colonization of other planets. But why did Earth choose to expand across the stars? If Earth in the Metroid universe is anything like ours, perhaps the decision is an economic one. Currently, the human population on our planet is sitting around 7 billion people, and some projections would place the Earth's population around 9 billion by 2050. Obviously, the planet will require more and more resources to keep up with the economic demand posed by an ever-increasing population. The colonization of other worlds would provide an outlet for this issue. For instance, the planet K2L became a colony solely to extract energy resources, presumably to satisfy the demand for energy. In summary, it is possible that with the expanse of knowledge deriving from quantum physics, humanity would develop to the point in which efficient intergalactic travel became possible. This may have led to the creation of a naval fleet to establish colonies, ultimately to economically support the home world. Humanity would continue to develop and expand, possibly interacting with other sentient beings, which eventually led to the creation of the Galactic Federation. However, this government body would see resentment. This came in the form of the growing threat of space piracy. It has been noted in Metroid lore that a rise of piracy occurred right during the foundation of the Federation. Perhaps intergalactic trade prior to the Federation's foundation somehow changed. Whatever the case, these space pirates do not like the current trading practices that the Federation imposed. As a result, they rebelled against it, raiding ships and stealing goods as a result. And this would lead to the tragedy of the Earth colony, K2L, in which the entire planet became a victim of violence at the hands of a growing pirate industry. The only person left alive in the colony following the attack was a young girl by the name of Samus Aran. As a result, she would find her way to be adopted by a Chozo known as Old Bird. In a sense, he acted as a foster parent towards the young Samus. In time, the Chozo would raise this girl they called a hatchling in their old warrior ways. This is where things get a bit interesting. In many Chozo writings, they would declare Samus to be a messiah of sorts. This is where we head to the interesting bit of Chozo lore. As our pride shatters, will prophecy become real? When all strength wanes from the Chozo, will it be the hatchling who fulfills our legacy? True sight eludes us, for the poison gnaws at all vision, leaving seers blind and filled with despair. Truth's blessing may come too late. Do the Chozo see Samus as the inheritor of their legacy? Perhaps. But what does this mean? It has been stated that, as a species, the Chozo have enormous lifespans, and Samus has been infused with the genetic material of the Chozo at a young age. This has allowed her to accomplish superhuman-like feats. Perhaps this would also lengthen her lifespan. It is possible that the Chozo wants to pass the torch over to Samus to be a guardian of the universe and an extension to the rest of humanity. In the Metroid universe, it seems as though human beings progressed extremely quick. In fact, humans seem to take most, if not all, of the military operations of the Federation. Most leadership positions we have seen in the Federation are completely dominated by humans. Have the Chozo planned something for Samus to guide the Federation forward? Well, it seems problematic. At the end of the Metroid timeline, Samus actually deserts the Federation altogether, seeing them as a corrupt institution. In many ways, the Federation has expanded immensely. During the events of Metroid Other M, the Federation sought to harness Metroids for militaristic purposes. A similar scenario occurred during Metroid Fusion. It is possible that the Chozo saw not only the Federation, but humanity in general as destabilizing, and sought to use Samus as a crux to help guide the universe to a more stable direction. Speculation aside, the sheer speed of how humanity developed in the Metroid series is awe-inspiring. Again, most of the leadership positions found within the Galactic Federation are all held by humans. Quantum mechanics may have sped up humanity's development, starting with the idea of each individual particle able to occupy many conditions or states at the same time, which led to the invention of the semiconductor, which not only led to the creation of the modern computer, but various other kinds of electronics as well. This field of physics brought in humanity's image of the cosmos, telling us accounts of how space-time works and our place in it. In the case of the Metroid universe, this may have led to humanity's expansion across the stars, which eventually led to the story of Samus Aran, a lone bounty hunter exploring the unknown. How did Samus Aran develop into the being that she is? At the time of humanity's ascension in the Metroid series, a great deal of technological innovation occurred. This development laid the foundation of how Samus Aran became the person that she is, to humanity's expansion across the stars, and the establishment of the colony known as K2L. Humanity's progression in the Metroid universe led Samus to be born on the colony in the first place. The rest is history. In time, she would become a legendary hunter, one that has advanced humanity's place in the stars. This is Samus and quantum mechanics. On a final note, there is a concept within quantum physics known as superposition, in which a particle occupies many conditions or states at the same time. However, this occurs when the particle is not being observed. When it is observed, the particle then collapses into a fixed condition or state. Succinctly, what occurs here is that when the particle is not being observed, it is in multiple places at the same time. However, when the mere act of observation occurs, the particle then collapses into a random location or state. It is a very unique aspect of quantum mechanics. This is where the many worlds theory actually comes into play. This theory states, whatever can happen, will happen. So in this experiment, the particle ends up in this location, but in another universe, the particle ends up in another location. This is where the heart of the many worlds theory actually derives from the subatomic level concerning particles. How does this relate to the Metroid universe? Well, that is just it. If Earth makes an appearance within the Metroid series, perhaps in another universe, the events of Metroid actually takes place, complete with its own Samus and such. It is an interesting topic to think about. Nonetheless, there are unresolved questions. What happened to Samus after the events of Metroid Fusion? She deserted the Federation, so what will she do now? Well, maybe it will be explored in a future installment of the series. Whatever the case, we have no idea. Thanks for watching the theory, everyone. If you have any questions, suggestions, or theories of your own regarding this topic, then comment below. We would love to hear it. Our next theory also has something to do with a puzzle found within the stars. It may concern a certain phenomenon found within The Legend of Zelda. If you would like to assist in the development of these kind of videos, then support us over at Patreon. Thanks for watching the theory, everyone. For anyone that studies quantum physics who is watching this, sorry for summarizing a lot of the details. I wanted to structure this video so anyone can watch. Hopefully I did okay. If I got anything wrong, please correct me. I do want to bring up a couple of disclaimers for some of the points I mentioned within the video. For one, quantum entanglement cannot be used to transmit messages, since the collapsing of one particle generates a random result for the other. However, quantum teleportation can send exact quantum data, but the current science we have on the topic is a bit hazy. Also, using wormholes for teleportation is possible but also improbable. According to Einstein's general theory of relativity, massive objects warp space-time to generate gravitational fields. If the object is massive enough, it can create funnels or holes. According to his work, you can't really zip through a wormhole since it is impossible to escape the black hole on the other end. However, recent science tells us that it is possible to utilize quantum entanglement to entangle the quantum states of two black holes and thus create a wormhole in between. It is a very interesting piece. It's actually a journal behind it. We'll post a link to the science journal in the description if you wanted to check it out. Also, I really wanted to talk about how quantum mechanics make Samus's beam weapons work, but that is probably best for another theory. This is definitely one of the more out there theories I've done since I'm bringing in quantum mechanics of all things. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next week for the next one, and take care.